and trust the math. So that's why I figured I would just share with you really quickly how the math works. And you can ask me some questions about it, and then we'll go over something that I covered on Saturday, which is look left. What's the 5 minute doing? Is this going to be trend up, trend down? And do I take the normal shifts or do I wait for the break in trend? Do I just go with the trend? Very important to understand that, especially today when the markets are flying like they were. Okay, so let's just say this is what you got. You got the 6900, 6905 call debit spread, followed by the 6905, 6910 call credit spread. Regardless of how much you made selling any debit spreads or how much credit you took in, I'm just talking about the end of the day math on the butterfly itself. So if you finish below the strikes on calls, you obviously know that these calls all expire out of the money. When they expire worthless out of the money, nothing happens. So they just expire out of the money, regardless of what your broker platform will say, because it takes a day to settle, nothing happens. It's literally a wash. It's out. They're done. All you have to show for it is what did you pay for this and how much did you get for this? Debit, credit, and what the difference is. That amount is what you made, period, or lost if you did it for a debit. That's if you finished here, out of the money. When you finish all the way up here, just so that you understand this is fully in the money. Everybody is in the money here. But when you finish outside of the butterfly here, you'll notice that it is a wash and there's no money made or lost either. So let's do that math. The 6,900, so you have plus 1 minus 2 plus 1. So the $6,900 call, let's just say price finished at 69.12 instead of 69.02. It finished way up here. So all these calls are in the money. The 6,900 call would be worth $12, right? Or 1,200 real dollars. The 6910 call, as you can see, would be worth $2. So that would be $14 or $1,400 coming your way. But you also have to cash settle the short strikes. So the short strikes, as you can see, the difference here between 69.05 and 69.12, you're going to lose $7. And you have two of them. And so you see beautiful balance symmetry here. Boom, 0. So it's either 0 out of the money or 0 in the money. That's how butterflies work. So the only way you make money on a butterfly at the end of the day is if you finish somewhere inside the net minus whatever you paid for the butterfly. If the butterfly finished at 69.01, you'd make $100. And these 2 strikes or 3 strikes would expire out of the money. But if you bought the butterfly for $1.10, you would lose $10, even though you finished inside the money. That's how butterflies work. You make the difference of this, of the strike price to the ending price, if you are in the money, less the cost of the butterfly. If you finish outside of the fly, there is no money, and you would lose the entire 110. But with Convert the Vert, we didn't pay 110. Most likely, we either got it for free or maybe just a few bucks, or in most cases, as you get good at it, you made money putting the trade on. Everybody with me so far? If you put this one on for, say, $2.20, and then you put this one here for $2.30, and if it fills, the difference is $10. So you made $10 credit, right? There's nothing they can do to take it away from you. So, boom, isn't that wonderful? And then you've got a lotto ticket that can be worth up to $500. So whether it finishes here or here, you keep the difference between what you paid versus what you got in credit. Debit, credit. Sometimes you're in a rush and you got to get out of this thing and you say, you know what, I'll just put it at the same number that I got the debit spread for. And now it's a wash and you have a free lottery ticket. Sometimes the market moves quickly and you're like, you know what, I got to get this thing is worth $2 right now. We're up against a level. I don't know. It looks like it might start to reverse now. I'm going to follow my rules and just get out now. Oh, it's $2. That's okay. $2, 220. That cost me $20. But I now have a fly that could be worth up to 500 at the end of the day, and it only cost me $20. So that's how the math works. So now let's talk about what happens if you finish inside the net, or inside the wings of the fly would be more accurate than net. Let's get rid of these. So today, if price finished at 69.02, you can see the 6,900 call is worth $2. So you have 2 means 200. Always add 2 zeros, right? So the difference between this and this is 2. 2 plus double zero, because it's based off of 100 shares, even though there are no shares. So you made $200 between 6,900 and 6,902. Let me just say that again. When you do the math here and the answer is 2, when you're dealing with strikes, always multiply times 100, just like you would with any option in terms of the price of the option. When we look at the 6905s, there's 2 of them. Aren't they out of the money? If price finished here at 6902, these are out of the money. They expired worthless today. This is way out of the money. It expired worthless today. So what are you left with? $200. Ding. Plus whatever you made when you did this. So if you guys had the 6905 centers, you made $200. I think it finished with 5 cents. So if that's the case, it's 205. Got it? Now let's show you another scenario, and that would be 6895, 6900, 6905. Some of you had the 6900 centers, right? So if that's the case, remember I got one of these, 2 of these, 1 of these, and price finished at, you said, 6902. So now we just simply, we do the math again. So if I'll do this in reverse, 6902 is up here, right? So if I look at the 6895 strike, it's deep in the money by $7. You all see that? 5, 6, 7. So $7 times 100. So I made $700 on this 6895 call, but I'm short 2 of the 6900s, which means I'm going to lose $2, or shall I say 200 times 2. That's 400. Subtract 400. That means so far I made $300. The 6905s are out of the money, so they will expire worthless. So you made $300 plus whatever you made from. Does that make sense? You just trust the math. It can't be anything else. There is no margin for error. It's straight up math. If it finished at 690205, then you just subtract 6895. That's your long strike at the bottom. Boom. And that's how much you made on the long call. On the 6900s, you basically do 690205, 6900 Boom. You do the math, multiply times 2, and that's what you didn't make. That's how much you lost. Add the two together, and that's what you get. Regardless of what your platform tells you, that is what you made. Plus whatever you made, putting the spreads on the old CTV, what you did with that. Now let's talk about puts. You can do puts the same way. 6902. So let's just say you had the 6905. I guess you could put it this way. We'll do it this way too. 6905, 6900, 6895. Right? There's your fly. +1 - 2 +1. And let's just say these are poots. If they're poots, same thing. So this is your long strike, right? Because at 6902, if you just draw it in here, that's why having it on paper is so great. 6902, you can see the 6905 put is what? It's in the money. So you do the math. 6905 - 6902 is what? $300. The 6900s expire worthless. The 6895 expires worthless too. So you made $300. So if you add the 6900 center in puts, you made $300. And if you had the 6905s as your center, 6910, 6900 puts, right? You would do the math on this. So obviously, if price is at 6902, I'm giving you all 4 scenarios here so you can see and rewatch this video because it's being recorded. If price finished here, you can see that the 6910 is in the money and the 6905s are in the money. The 6900 is out of the money, worthless. So we do the math. 6910 minus the 6902 is 800. The 6905 puts that you're short. However, you're going to lose $300. 300 times 2 of them, 600. That means you made 200. Similar scenario as the calls, but you can see how the math is super clear, right? The 6910 is in the money by $8. The 6905 is in the money by $3. So times 100 times 100. Boom, boom. That's how much you made plus whatever you did here and here. Everybody understand the math?
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comments section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.